Intersections are one of the most important things in cities, and yet they look very complex, having many pieces of infrastructure that tell people where and when to go while staying efficient and safe. But what if I told you that they are actually extremely easy to make? Well, using the 10 tips in this video, you should be able to transform something that looks like this to something that looks like this. This video will be split into 3 sections, shown by the timestamps below. And in the first section, we will talk about lanes. Every intersection has at least one lane intersecting another lane. And one of the most important things is being able to turn easily from one direction to another. And we do this with our first tip, curved edges. Curved edges smooth out the turn and make your citizens like your city more as it's easier to drive in. The next thing to add, which is related to turning, is the second tip, which are designated turning lanes. These allow more cars to make it through each light cycle and decrease congestion. But now that we have all of this, how will cars know which lanes are for what direction and where to stop? Well, we do this with our third tip, which is to add road markings. The road markings I recommend are arrows on each lane showing which direction they lead. If you have bike lanes, you should also know where their boundaries are in the intersection and add a white line to mark where the car should stop. If you like, you can add a yellow marking like this in the center, as it also makes the intersection look good. But it just depends on the style your city uses. Now, the next section is for pedestrians, to allow them to also use these intersections safely. And the first thing to help with that is the fourth tip, which are crosswalks, to show where your pedestrians should cross and to show where the pedestrians will be crossing. But now that they can cross, they need something to tell them when they should be crossing. To do this, simply use the fifth tip and add pedestrian controlled lights to each corner of the intersection. Or just use an item frame inside an item frame and a button right next to the crosswalk so they can activate it. But now, say that you have a 2-lane road with a median in the center, and the pedestrians can't make it all the way across the intersection before the time runs out, getting stuck in the center. Well, to combat this, use the 6th tip, to add islands. These islands should have benches and another button for crossing, so that people can wait to reactivate the pedestrian crossing and rest at the same time. But while you're oh god. But while they're waiting, they might feel very hot because the sun is just beating down on them. So you should use the 7th tip, which is to add some trees to the median to add some shade. And while you're at it, you might as well cover the entire space with some more trees. For the final section, we are going to focus on cars. And while the first tip, which is tip 8, would be to add cars to the intersection to make your city feel more lived in. And now that you have cars, they need to know when to go. So you should use the 9th tip and add traffic lights. But how tall should the traffic lights be? Well, a cool trick for figuring this out is by building the tallest vehicle that would be in your city and placing the lights above it with a 1-block gap. And now we have the final tip, tip 10, which is to be consistent. Without consistency, you can have one intersection with one style of road markings and the other one right after that with completely different road markings, which to any driver would be extremely confusing. I hope this video was able to help you learn more about building a city. And if you want to check out more city building content, check out this video right here, or check out my channel page and Discord. Other than that, have an amazing day, and goodbye.